Hello, Libra. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Seven of Swords. This is a card of distraction. This is the card of someone who is trying to stay on the straight and narrow, but is running into a lot of other pathways. You know, it's like you're trying to stay on your quest, but every couple miles down the road, you encounter a little side quest. It's right. It's like one of those role-playing games, you know? I used to love those when I was a kid. Still do. Every time that we feel like we're making progress, it seems like there's something else we have to do. You know, we start picking up speed, gathering some steam, the momentum, right? And then there's a distraction. Then there is kind of a side quest, an alternative pathway, another draw on your energy. This is our first card. This is our station card. It kind of represents your general perspective, represents your subconscious or subjective experience of things. Yeah, and so it feels like there are a lot of things trying to pull you into other directions. Yeah, a lot of distractions. So you're trying to sit down and write your book. You're sitting there at the computer, you're typing away, and there's just always, if it's the phone rings, the dog barks, the neighbor, knocks on your door or something, there's always something else. Now, maybe it's, are we perhaps noticing more of the distractions because there's something about this straight and narrow pathway that we're trying to avoid? So, it's like you hear a knock at the door. Oh, someone's at the door. Yeah, I guess I can't do this right now. So it might be a sort of a tactic for avoidance. We got to put this card into a little bit of context, though, don't we? We got to see if we're in need of the distractions, if we're using these distractions in order to avoid what it is we have to do. Oh, well, there's the Nine of Cups. There's the Hanged Man. There's the Five of Swords. There is a Knight of Pentacles. And there is the Fool. Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. I kind of feel like this is not necessarily something you're trying to avoid, but there's all these distractions. You have a difficult time settling down to work and getting concentrated. It might be that you just need a little bit of a break. That you've been trying too hard to concentrate your mind, that the mind now is kind of rebelling. It's saying, no, you know what? I'm going to do anything but this. You watch. Yeah. Let's do the Path of the Serpent. Six of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Two of Pentacles. I feel like you kind of need a change of scenery right now. Yeah. Your energy is kind of shifting. I think that instead of you trying to force yourself to do this and force yourself to be happy to do this, I think you're taking a little bit of a break. I think the Fool energy is really the way to go. This is the path forward for you. This is what's coming next for you. And this is at least a moment where you're not worried about this, where you're not sacrificing, you're not trying to deny yourself what it is you really want for the sake of doing whatever this Ace of Swords is for you. I don't even know what it is. The Nine of Cups might be really the message here. The quest for you is kind of now, do something that makes you happy. Do something that makes you feel good. Do something, and not in some kind of an ego-gratifying way, but do something that's going to make you want to sit down and do it. So that you're not looking around for something, please, something, anything distract me. Do something right now that is going to make you want to just sit down and do it, that, that nothing's going to distract you from it, because it has that depth of meaning for you. And this thing that you're doing, this Ace of Swords, it could be the same thing, right? It's the Ace of Swords. You're trying to concentrate, but your mind is going in all sorts of different ways. Your mind is interested in everything else except for the task at hand. You might just need a break. You might need to find something else to do for now that will restore your energy, that'll make you feel sort of complete again, that will give you some rest, right? Restore your vitality. It doesn't mean take a nap, although maybe that too. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. I'm going to set this down right over here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay, now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3 majors. We see the Hanged Man, the Fool, the Hermit. We see a little bit of fire. We don't have fire till we get over here to the path of the Serpent. We see water right in the middle. You've got your air cards there, and you've got your earth cards. Okay, so it's fairly balanced, I'd say, but it's a little bit light on the fire, though, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Because I think that we kind of need a reset, a refresh. We need a recharge. It doesn't mean that you need to stop doing this and do something else. Let's say you're trying to write your book and say, forget about the book. Go find something else that you love to do. Maybe that would be ego. This might be that you have to find a way to really reset your energy, cleanse, purify your energy, clear your mind, clear your head. Go do something else for a while so that when you come back to your desk and to your typewriter and you're going to write your book, or maybe you're doing it the old school way with a feather, a quill, and an inkwell or something, right? That you actually want to do it. Because you're not going to do a good job anyway if every time you sit down, you're just like, I need a distraction. What is it? I guess I've got to go. I should probably make a snack. Yeah, that's right. I got to get something to eat while I work. And then you get your snack, you sit down and you're about to start typing and you think, I should probably use the bathroom first. And then you go and do that. And we're just avoiding doing the work. Okay? Why are we avoiding doing the work? Well, it's costing you too much in a way, right? This is the card of suffering and sacrifice. Because you kind of your mind is in some ways thinking of all the other things you could be doing, or all the other things that you now aren't doing or can't do because you're fixed on that one thing, that one part of your life, that one aspect of your life. This is a card, this is the dream that keeps on dreaming, right? This is the happiness that keeps on happening. And if you're here struggling to force yourself to concentrate, now the Seven of Swords is a card of meditation. This gives you the technique of meditation, by the way. Meditation is not concentration necessarily. It's not clearing your mind. It's not anything like this. It's not breathing exercises. Meditation is bringing your mind back to a central point. No matter how many times it strays, you bring it back. It strays, you bring it back. And you can concentrate on anything. You're focusing on, I used to focus on the tip of my nose and breathe, and you feel the air going in and out through your nose. That would be the focus of your concentration. That'd be my Ace of Swords. My mind would wander. I would start thinking of everything. Baseball, think of yesterday, I think of work, I think of tomorrow, I think of all sorts of stuff. You bring the mind back. Every time you notice that your mind strays, you bring it back. Your mind strays, bring it back. Mind strays, bring it back. That's the practice. Sometimes you gotta take a break from the practices. Okay? Sometimes there are other things in life that need your attention in order for you to then return to your meditation practice and feel refreshed. This is that card of refreshment. Okay? I feel like there's been you're putting too much pressure on yourself maybe. Okay? A fresh start is approaching. The Nine of Cups is happiness and abundance on every plane of being. It might be that your mind is distracting you from some particular task because it's trying to alert you to like these other areas of your life that need your attention. Okay. I think part of this is, we're avoiding doing that important work. I think that has to do with our background card, the Five of Swords. And I think that this is self-doubt. I think that part of you, not the whole part, but a little part of you, is trying to avoid doing the work that you're trying to do with the Ace of Swords, with that central sword, right, in this card. That part of you is intentionally looking for distractions because you're doubting, you're not confident, you're insecure about your own capabilities. Okay? If we're trying to sit down and write our book, but there's so many things that pop up that I just can't get around to writing it, I'm just too busy, there are too many distractions, then I never have to write the book. Then I never have to, look at the book or show it to anybody else or wonder is it any good? I don't have to go through that process. So I think that this is almost a self-doubt where there's part of you, a little piece of you, that doesn't believe that you're any good at this. And so by avoiding it, we'll never have to learn that about ourselves. I never actually sit down and do the thing. It's kind of like with jiu-jitsu. I've been telling myself I'm going to start taking jiu-jitsu lessons for the last year and a half. I've been telling you that. I haven't done it yet. I'm too busy. I have too many distractions. My time is being pulled in too many different directions. There's just no way to do it. That's probably me avoiding doing jiu-jitsu and not being all that confident that I'll be any good at it. All right? I'm avoiding something. I'm avoiding feeling awkward, uncomfortable. I'm avoiding feeling like I'm not good at it, like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, of course I don't. I've never done it before. But this is, I think, that kind of background energy for you. You're doubting that you're capable, right? You're kind of doubting your own efficacy. Yeah. So anyway, the Nine of Cups is important here because it's the only water energy we have. And it's asking you in a way like, are you enjoying the process? Are you sitting down and trying to do something that you really truly enjoy? Or is part of the reason why you're avoiding it because you don't really like it? You don't really enjoy it. That's something you have to consider. Spirit's not telling you the answers here. Showing you a lot of different, it's not that black and white. It's not just either you're avoiding it because you doubt yourself, or you're avoiding it because it doesn't really make you happy, or you're avoiding it because for whatever reason. It's all of these things. All of these versions of you exist. There's a part of you that doesn't want to sit down and do it because you feel like you're not going to enjoy it. Okay? There's a part of you that doesn't want to sit down and do it because you have this fear of missing out. The sacrifice. The fear that we're sacrificing things that we really want to do for the sake of something that maybe we don't really want to do, or we're not going to be good at it, or we don't know what the future is going to hold. We have a lot of those things here. The fear of being bad at something, the fear of defeat, the fear of losing, the fear of trying our very best and it comes out like a shabby, really just like a really terrible book, right? The fear that that if we sit here and focus on whatever this is, that we are shaping our life, shaping our future in a way that's going to be full of regret. That we're becoming something we don't want to become. This is that card that says, I can't, right? Before you even try something. This is the card that's looking at the future and avoiding doing this activity because really we don't want the results. We don't want the consequences. This is that card that is, perhaps, well, maybe up here too, kind of failing to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Failing to see that anything good will come from this. This is the card that's maybe scared of missing out on all those other good things. It's kind of like, why am I going to sit here and spend all my time writing this novel when I could be out living life or having fun or earning money or playing with the dog or flying a kite or any of these different things? Okay. And I think that the Hanged Man and the Knight of Pentacles need to get together and say, look, we might have to sacrifice some of these fun things now because what we're creating really is worthwhile. But you have to be able to look in the future. That's why the Knight is up here as you're above the surface, conscious path of the dove energy, because Spirit's telling you, look into the future. See where you are, who you are, where you are, what you're doing. Do you like what you see? If you were to sit down and do this work and follow through with whatever this task or project or whatever this cultivation is that you're trying to do, if you follow through with it, what is your life going to become? Better than had you not done it, or worse than before? Well, I don't think you really know the answers, but I think that you can see the future enough to say, if I keep doing this, it's going to make my life better. Maybe you don't know how exactly, maybe you don't know, exactly what it's going to be like, or there's no guarantees, you know that. But you can generally say that, yeah, probably make my life happier. Okay. And of course, that Hanged Man, with all the suffering and sacrifice, is the sacrifice worthwhile? Is the ego having to sacrifice or forego immediate gratification for the long term? Now, the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the long term. Okay, sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term satisfaction. Yeah. But the main question here with this Nine of Cups is, why are you avoiding this? Okay, this is a card of happiness and the pursuit of happiness. What are you gaining? Or what do you feel like you're gaining? Or what do you feel like you're avoiding? What do you feel like you're gaining or losing? Look at it both ways. What are you going to gain by doing this? Central sword activity, whatever it is. By concentrating on this thing, what are you going to gain? What are you going to lose? What are you going to lose? What are you going to gain, right? I think it's the ability to recognize that what you're gaining is a lot. This is a dream come true in a way. And sometimes if the stakes are this important, if it's this worthwhile, if the future really could be the best, like this is super abundance. This is abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and the spiritual creative planes. This is every dimension of your life is getting better. You'd think that you would just be there with bells on, like, I'm ready to do it, let's get going. Well, no, not if we're not if we're insecure about how well we can do it. It's like, yeah, this could really be for all the marbles, but what if I suck? What if I'm terrible? What if nobody likes me? What if I fail? What if, right? That's the Five of Swords back there. But the Fool in the future position, I think, is taking a little break, refreshing the energy, getting in touch with the who, what, where, when, and why of it all. It's not about what you're doing, really. That's why I don't know if this is writing a book or riding a bike. It's why you're doing it and how you're doing it. Right now, how you're doing it is pretty distracted. This is kind of like, how are you doing it? You're not really. That we're starting to. It's like you get all your stuff set up, but then it's like, oh, there's always one more thing to go do. It may be that you're planning everything too much. You're not actually sitting down and doing the thing. I was talking to my wife. She does tea leaf readings over at ULA Tea Leaf Readings, and we're talking about when we were kids and how we both like stationery. Like we get the calligraphy pens. We didn't know each other when we were kids, but she and I both independently kind of formed a love for writing and for calligraphy and that sort of thing. And I was telling her how I used to love going to the stationery store where I lived and getting the paper and getting the pens, with the metal tips and those little ink cartridges and stuff, and getting a really nice one. I'd beg my mom to let me buy one. And I would do all of that, and I'd get a little case for everything, but all that preparation, all that gathering of materials, but I didn't really do a lot of writing. And I realized that. I loved getting the stuff and looking at it and putting it together and keeping it nice and organizing it and stuff, but I didn't really do a lot of calligraphy. I didn't write a lot of letters with it. I didn't really practice a whole heck of a lot. And it was an interesting realization. But sometimes that's what this Seven of Swords is. Yeah. We're over-planning, over-preparing, overthinking because we're avoiding like some kind of truth here. Very often this card comes in this way. Now I don't read reversals because every card has light and shadow. Every card has to be taken in the context of the other cards, right? And since we have this card here, it's kind of saying that there's some kind of a truth that we're avoiding. And that truth has to do with your real happiness. I think both the Knight of Pentacles and the Hanged Man are stopping and taking a good, long, hard look at life. The Knight of Pentacles is not moving. The Hanged Man is certainly not moving, right? And asking ourselves that very difficult question, taking that really honest look. Yeah. And pointing that sword of perception at us and thinking, why am I avoiding this? What am I afraid of? What is the truth that we're covering up through all these distractions or all this preparation, or it's just like, I don't know. It's like when I was a kid, we used to try to, I used to have an intention to to play a certain game or something, right? We're going to do touch football. And then we spend hours coming up with the rules and figuring out the teams and doing all, and then pretty soon it's like, oh, it's dinner time, can't play. We do all the busy work, leaves very little time for the actual play, the actual performance. Okay? So in a certain way, we kind of have to replace our Seven of Swords with just the Nine of Cups. If doing whatever thing this is, I don't know, Ace of Pentacles, whatever this activity is, if it feels good, then just do it. If you're resisting doing it, ask yourself why. There is a hidden truth here that you're not asking yourself, or that you're not allowing the answer to come forth. Okay? You're stopping exactly where you are and you're looking ahead and thinking, do I still want what's up there at the summit of the mountain? And then here you're kind of you're stopping. You're not moving, you're not going forward, and you're sort of feeling it out and you're thinking, is it worth the sacrifices? Is it worth what I have to give up? And really the main question is, what are you going to enjoy? Okay, maybe you're kind of in the wrong, not in the wrong industry, right? Let's think this is something like you love setting up the drums, you love tuning the drums, you love cleaning them up and micing them up and running all the wires and doing all that stuff and like picking out cymbals and angling things just right. But you're avoiding playing the drums. Why? Well, maybe you're not meant to play them. Maybe you're meant to be the drum tech rather than the drummer in the band or something. I think it's just about being honest with what part of this we're avoiding and why, and how we can maybe do something that we enjoy. Now, doesn't mean that everything we do is going to be fun. Yeah. But I think for right now, the Fool is the way forward. We need a refresh. This is now someone who is free of all these encumbrances. God, this is kind of a stagnating energy right here. This is a wall that just cannot stand. We can't keep doing this kind of this thing, There needs to be, we have to finally be free of all these swords. And the Fool is free because it's honest with itself. The Fool has gotten rid of these swords now, and the Fool can just be happy because we've admitted what we've been avoiding. We've asked the question that we've been avoiding, and we're accepting the answer that we've been avoiding, which may be that I don't even want to do this thing anymore. Okay. Maybe. Could be the Fool is ready for a new adventure. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The Six of Wands is a card of victory. It's a card of confidence. Okay? It's the card of like being jazzed up, being ready to go, really being acknowledging your own capabilities and your own power, being very excited to start something because this is going to be fun. We're going to do, my wife and I with some of our family friends, we're going to do a kidney transplant, like 5K, like a run, but I mean like a walk. It's a walk. But we're going to do that, right? And so I was thinking, like, I really don't like to run. But I can imagine somebody who's going to run a race, and if they know they like it, and they have fun running, and they're with their friends, they're excited about the challenge. They're excited to go run the race. And they're happy to do it. And they're going to rearrange their life in order to make it happen, reschedule stuff and whatever. But someone who isn't so confident or is more insecure or more self-conscious, maybe agreeing to things, oh yeah, let's go do the run, but then is going to find several reasons why they can't make it that day. They're avoiding it. They're avoiding just being honest and saying, you know what, I don't want to run. I don't want to go. I want to be outside. But instead promising and promising and promising, so, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But really deep down, somewhere in their soul, there's no intention of doing it. We're going to avoid doing it. We're going to pray something comes up, or we're going to make something come up that's going to distract us from doing the thing. But the Six of Wands, I think after we do a Fool refresh and we kind of free ourselves from any of that guilt, and we're very honest. Like there's something about being honest with yourself makes you feel lighter, right? Kind of, it's a burden off your shoulders. It's a weight lifted. I'm free of this thing, And it's not that I've got this pressure now. Oh, I've got to sit down and write the novel, and there's all these distractions. I'm trying, and I sit down again. I'm going to try to write the novel. This is that freedom where it's just like I don't have that responsibility. There's a lightness. There's a pressure that feels like it's taken off your chest. You can breathe easier, you can sleep, you can relax, you can be happy. Okay? And I think this is you finding something that makes you excited to do it. Now, maybe it is this thing. It could still be the exact same thing. But having this introspection and this self-reflection might be allowing you to find out what your blockage is really here. so that you can enjoy this process and have fun. Maybe you got to just take the pressure off yourself. Maybe just you admitting that you're not so hopeful, or that you're not confident, or that you have doubts or whatever. Like, maybe that's going to be a big relief. Maybe talking about it to somebody is going to be a big relief. It's going to allow you to have fun. Maybe lowering your expectations, lowering that pressure you put on yourself. Maybe the Five of Swords is like, I'm secretly avoiding this because I know that I'm not going to be as good as I've been telling everybody I am. Right? So then if you can finally, the Fool can be free of that and say, hey, look, everybody, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be very bad at this. And I know maybe I talked myself up, but this isn't going to be very good. Maybe then we're just free to enjoy it. It's kind of like you're going to go to a club and you're going to dance. But you're kind of worried. You think, oh gosh, everybody thinks I'm such a great dancer. Oh no, now the pressure's really on. Oh, oops, I'm sick. Sorry, I can't make it tonight. But everybody's like, hey, come on, we want to see you dance. And you're like, oh yeah, next time, I promise. Next weekend comes around and I got to stay late at work. I can't make it. You're expecting everybody to hold you to some standard. And it's not necessarily the case. Maybe nobody cares whether you can dance or not. They just want to go have fun with you. You want to go and enjoy the thing, but you're putting that pressure on yourself, thinking that you have to perform to a certain standard or a certain, a certain perfection. Okay, it's not necessarily there on the outside. It's something that it's a standard that you're holding yourself to. The Ace of Pentacles in the environment. This is you doing the thing. Okay. In some ways, the Fool is just going to do it. The Fool is a very inconsiderate card, The Fool doesn't care about past or future, only cares about the moment. The Fool is very inconsiderate, doesn't think of consequences. The Fool isn't self-conscious, doesn't care how it looks, doesn't get embarrassed, has no regrets. This is literally like the no regrets card. It's just a purity. There's an innocence here. It's kind of a 0 point. It's saying the universe is infinite potential. And I can extend myself into any one of those infinite pathways. And that's kind of like that's wow, that's cool. Of course, our mind, our insecure, fragile human mind, starts to get worried, starts to get doubtful, starts to get anxious and scared and hesitant, and starts making excuses. And maybe it's not even excuses. Maybe this is like psychosomatic. Maybe it's like every day when you're about to do it, you end up like with a stomach ache, Like when a kid says they have a stomach ache before they go to school, they probably do. They're not making it up necessarily. They probably literally do have a stomach ache. But it's because of something else that's happening, something else that they're anticipating, something else that's going on, that's causing the physical innervation, the physical response, the physical ailment. Okay? And anyway, the Ace of Pentacles is beginning the thing, doing the thing. I think we need an energy refresh. We kind of have to reset ourselves a little bit. And maybe this is freeing ourselves from any kind of standard or expectation and just saying, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have fun with it. Let's see what happens. Okay? The card you don't want, the obstacle right now, is that hermit mode. Sometimes the hermit will choose isolation and avoidance. It's a shadow side of the hermit, right? Hiding ourselves away, trying to conceal our light because we're afraid of what people are going to think when they see our real light. I've been talking about playing the drums for years, right? I've been telling everybody that, I used to play the drums and I was in a band and all that stuff. I feel like I'm terrible at playing the drums. I feel like I suck at it. But that, that avoidance is then you're not letting anybody see you. That you're going to deny yourself the very thing that'll make you happy because you're worried about what other people are going to think of you. Okay? So this is, well, in a way, the Hermit is kind of like shutting out the outside world. See, every card has light and shadow. Shutting out the outside world and just doing the thing. So this is a card that can avoid distractions. Put on that cloak of invisibility. Pretend you're the only one in the room and just do it. No, I'm not saying that you are literally like isolating yourself and going hermit mode and you're just going to play, you're just going to play drums in your room by yourself or something, which is always fun. But to be out in the world doing your life and not being overly concerned with other people seeing you. Okay? We maybe can't be the complete fool. Because the fool doesn't care whose eyes are on them. The fool doesn't even know, is oblivious. The hermit is not oblivious. The hermit is intentionally trying to stay in the background, trying to stay behind the scenes. Intentionally trying to stay anonymous. Okay? Or the fool is just, doesn't even care. Isn't trying to do the opposite, isn't trying to be out there as the star of the show, just doesn't really, never thought about it, don't even care. Okay, so it's different. But what we don't want to do is continue avoiding something that is going to make us happy or continue to force ourselves to do something that isn't making us happy, that's making us miserable. Things need to change is the ultimate outcome here, the Two of Pentacles. Something needs to change. Okay. Because you deserve to be happy. You have the potential to be very happy. You've got to let yourself, you got to be very honest with yourself about what's going to make you happy and what is not going to make you happy. Perhaps on the long term as well, not just in the immediate short term. What needs to change in you? What needs to change in your environment in order for you to be happy? Because you're avoiding something. You're avoiding a truth. The answer is here. I feel like you're trying not to admit it. If something is changing, let's look at the mystery card. I want this to be another 9 of Cups. Or a 6 of Cups, a 3 of Cups, a 10 of Cups, an Empress, a Wheel of Fortune, another Fool. Maybe the Libra Power card, the Justice card. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. Well, it's a 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is you traveling on, trusting in the feeling. You're still worried, you're still concerned. You got your swords here on the boat. But they're not driving the boat. Your will is driving the boat. The wand is pushing that vessel forward. Your willpower is doing it anyway. And you're trusting in yourself. You're trusting in the current of energy. Okay. You're still worried, you're still self-conscious, you still doubt. And I think that you always will. The swords need to be on the boat with you. You don't need to let them drive the boat. Okay. This is perhaps also a card of honest communication, right? A 6 of Swords. 6 is the number of harmony and beauty and connection. It might be really a self-reflective energy right now. I like that now we've got the 5, we've got the 7, now we got the 6. The 5 is always rolling the dice. And when you roll the dice, when you you write a check, right? The 7 is then you don't believe that this is going to turn out well at all. But the 6 then is, that's the outcome you want, right? Whenever you roll in my game of craps anyway, you roll the dice with the 5. What you want to get is a 6. What you don't want is the 7. Because the 7 then is like, I'm expecting disappointment. I'm expecting embarrassment. Okay. I'm expecting shame. Okay, so we're kind of we're reluctantly rolling these dice, and it's almost like you make a promise or you make a statement, right? But then you got to deliver, and so we're avoiding something because we kind of feel like we maybe exaggerated a little bit. I think the 6 is really important here because I think that it really is you. It's you doing a good job at this. Yeah, that you're taking a chance maybe on this. Maybe this is something like a skill. It's something intellectual. Maybe you're literally writing a book. And the 7 is the feeling that it's just going to be terrible, and that's why I'm avoiding it. I think the 6 is a very pleasant surprise. You know, I think this is going to be a lot better than you think. I think that you're still going to do whatever this was that we started with, but the way you are going to be experiencing it is going to change. I think instead of you doubting it and being suspicious of it and sort of self-conscious about it, I think you're just going to enjoy it, happiness. We're replacing the 7 of Swords with the 9 of Cups. Okay. And I think in a way with our 5 of Swords, it doesn't matter how this turns out. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes, if you fumble things, if you embarrass yourself. It doesn't matter if things go perfectly well according to plan. What matters is if you enjoy it or not. Yeah. And I think that's important too, because anytime you roll the dice, you could just as easily get a 7 as a 6. But as long as you enjoy what you're doing, some days are going to be good, some days are going to be not so good. Some days you're going to be very eloquent. You're going to say everything perfectly. You're going to communicate just flawlessly. Other days you're going to be stuttering, stumbling, jamming your words together and tripping over your own tongue. Okay? Which, of course, I can attest to that because it's me every day. Right? Some readings are just smooth like butter. Other readings are just jagged and bumpy and weird. But as long as it feels good, it feels right, this is what matters. As long as we're enjoying the process here and we're enjoying the time we're spending together, it doesn't matter how smooth the sailing is. So anyway, I feel like this is going to work out a lot better for you, but some things do need to change, okay? We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Libra on Mondays and Thursdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.